So if you're like me, you like Necrodancer racing and data. I have a way here to take a set of match results from Necrodancer racing in the season and produce a good estimate of the MMRs and ranks for each player who participated in that season. The original document is going to be a link that I post underneath this video. I have right now my personal copy of it. I'm going to click make your own copy because whenever you access that, this is what you will do first. You will create your own copy. It'll bring you to something which says you are viewing your copy of the original file, and it'll be what I want to say is an active kernel session, which in the Mathematica Wolfram Cloud notebooks just means it's the same as if you just restarted session. Now, this notebook can be evaluated. The first thing to do is go to this link, which is a Google Sheet. It's a Google Sheet that actively is tracking the number of results from the cadence sets and creating this giant string here, which you can copy and paste in place of this completed matches. This string contains all of the match results in the format that this notebook expects. I hit Shift-Enter to execute that cell, which just assigns the variable completed matches. There are 3 other variables here that are inferred from that data, and it's convenient to have them cached. Then there's this paragraph of dense-looking math. It's not important that you understand what this does, but it is maximizing the likelihood of seeing this exact data set under the same assumptions that staff is using to compute MMRs. If you just Shift-Enter on this cell, all that math is now in the machine. You don't really need to know what it's doing. And then finally, you can run this command here, and it will take in all this data, apply this math to it, and spit out a list of MMRs for each racer. This is a live run of the live data as of July 7th at this current time, 3:27 its time zone. And after about a minute, and now note that since we're using a cloud notebook, there's not the option to have this thing run arbitrarily long, so I had to cut it to a specific number of iterations, 1200, that's only going to have a good chance and not a great chance of being close to the actual equilibrium point of this model, but the equilibrium point is just a number for everyone such that this is really likely to be the output of the data set. Not necessarily really likely, but the most likely it can be given we have to assign a number to everyone. So, killing a little bit more time. Oh yeah, one other thing to note about this output. If someone doesn't have both a win and a loss, it's going to give them an outlier MMR. And here we see exactly that. Mudjo has a 3-0, and that's his only record so far. So he's sitting at the top by a pretty wide margin over the people with more data. I'd say it's best to ignore anyone who has not yet made a loss or a win. But anyway, so given all this data and all this math, I've spit out MMRs. And this is going to use the same formula that staff is using. So these numbers can be treated as not perfect. They're obviously, I had to make some shortcuts to make this run in the minute that I get on the Cloud Notebook before it times out a computation, but it's very accurate. It's a very good prediction of what your rank is, what your MMR is, plus or minus a couple of scale factors. And you can use this to add in some hypotheticals. So say I were to 3-0 Spoody tonight. I would just go in here and extend this with Big Emac 42. It's going to have some pretty slow response times because it's a cloud notebook. I can't improve upon that. Spoody Biscuit, and I'd say I 3-0 him because that's a nice result for me. I would be very happy with that. Every time you update some hypothetical, you will always run these 3 because the local cached variables need to have this new match inside of them. And then this math doesn't need to be run, so I'm just going to skip it. And I will just spend 1 more minute running this. And it'll see that, okay, right now I am behind Squigga, I'm ahead of Jack of Games. But if I were to 3-0 Spoody Biscuit, that would look really good for the MMR. I might move up a fair amount. Now, I have a lot of data already. That means that it's not going to move me up very much. It might move Spoody down. It'll be questionable whether Spoody moves down far enough to go below first, or discounting Mudjo first place. But we will see what happens. So for the patient, this is a way to definitely create whatever match results you want, add them to the existing match results, and see what the MMRs turn into. I think as long as you have Wolfram Cloud credentials and can follow the link to this cell in this notebook, it should work. And here we are. Spoody's dropped, but not from first place. I have moved up past Squugga and Encrypted, and that would be a very good result if I were to 3-0 Spoody. Now, granted, that's just, I picked the best possible looking thing for myself to show what this can do, but that would put me in finals, assuming that 8 people make it to finals and Mudjo doesn't have accurate results and drops quite a bit once there's results. Anyway, hope this is a good how to use on this notebook that I have provided. The link is in the comments.